From our studios here in Kokomlemle in the capital of Ghana, Accra, this is The Pulse. Good afternoon and welcome to the media edition of the show. We're coming to you live here from Kokomlemle, and we're live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV channel 125, and across the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up this hour, the MPPs, thank you to all faces, a fresh setback as party chairman Stephen Intim takes an unexpected break from the campaign trail just when the party prepares to hit the street over the suspension of the Chief Justice. We'll bring you more on this particular story and take you live to the NPP headquarters here in Accra, where the party is currently addressing the press about their planned protest over the suspension of the Chief Justice.
That must not be crossed. Ladies and gentlemen, we must therefore reiterate our call for the immediate reinstatement of the Chief Justice and the withdrawal of his unconstitutional action.
We will take you live to the headquarters of the MPP for that particular press conference, which is currently underway. Now, also coming up, Ghana National Fire Service saves over 550 million cedis worth of property from fire destruction between January and December 2024 as it identifies five key causes of recent infernos in the country. We have more on this as illegal connections and overcrowding are fueling frequent fires as traders demand faster access to ECG meters and a complete market reconstruction to prevent further devastation. This afternoon, more reactions greet suspension of Chief Justice as TUC waits in and is urging President Mahama to hasten slowly on the matter. We have the details, plus tell you about President Mahama's commitment to strengthening trade relations regionally and internationally as he approaches his first 120th day in office. Now, these and many more coming up here on The Pulse. Thanks for joining us. On behalf of the entire team, welcome aboard. Let's begin from the MPP because the party, in collaboration with 4 other political parties, is set to stage a protest on May 5 in opposition to the suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Tokonu. Now, currently, the MPP is holding a news conference at its headquarters in Accra to outline details of the upcoming demonstrations. Let's now join the live briefing where the party's national organizer, Henry Nanabuachi, is addressing the meeting. I mean, he addressed it quite shortly, but now it's the party's communications director, Richard Anyagba.
The NDC is calculating to do your right, my right, will have vanished under this democracy, and we will resist that. And that's the invitation for you to all to join us on 5th May at the park opposite the Supreme Court for a demonstration that would signal to the executive that our democracy matters more than anyone's politics. It matters more than any individual's political ambition. We are determined to let the government understand that the very democracy that brought them to office, they must ensure they protect it and keep it safe for our posterity. Thank you very much, Erin Anabuachi, for that strong message. It is time now to invite the minority leader of the New Patriotic Party caucus in Parliament, the Osahene Alexander Apenyo Marcus.
Come to the microphone. Oh, it's okay. Yes, sir. the mighty minority. Assign him on the microphone.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. We are here as a mighty minority to also have a bite on these disturbing issues that confront our nation. Before I address the issue of the Chief Justice, let me take you through some disturbing matters that we have witnessed since the NDC assumed the reins of government on the 7th of January 2025. The first thing we heard was the mass dismissal of the youth who have been employed in state-owned enterprises and in the public sector. People who have been employed for over 7 years, 6 years, were suddenly asked to go home. Some go into their offices and they are sacked. Nurses who were recruited last year have been made to go home. Teachers who were recruited and posted have been sacked. That is the state of the NDC government for you. Instead of creating employment opportunities, they are rather creating more unemployment. Now, even with some of these institutions, they now replace some institutional heads with their party faithfuls as part of their resetting agenda. Now, let's come to the issue of Galamsey. Somewhere 2014, the then Minister of Finance, Honorable Setekpe, appeared before Parliament and lamented on the state of the cocoa production in our country. Among the key issues he addressed Parliament on, through its Finance Committee, was issue of Galamsey. Of course, MPP came into office and made attempt to address this issue. I must admit we were not successful. The NDC used it as a campaign tool. Today, what do we see? According to organized labor, this is not from MPP. According to organized labor, the Galamsey situation has worsened. And they have now even institutionalized Galamsey by enacting what they call a gold board. What is the essence of gold board? They claim that the gold board is now going to buy equipment for small-scale miners. But you and I know that their intent is not to support any small-scale miner. Their intent is to support Galamseyers. That's exactly what they are doing. And they are saying they're monopolizing the purchase of gold and to regulate it and all. What are they trying to do? Let's go to our military. Our military, Ghana Armed Forces, they've been kept out of politics. From President Kufuor's time, all the way to Nanado, whom they have so much criticized. Those heads in our military, the generals, were allowed to stay in office when MPP assumed office. Some served for over a year until they themselves retired. But what are we seeing today? There's a complete wipeout at the highest level of the military. They first decided to clear those senior officers, the generals. The CDS, the army commander, and other service chiefs were cleared. Then they added some 15 more. And upon assumption of office, the new CDS now is forcing 2-star generals to all retire. So again, what they are doing is to make our military, our Ghana Armed Forces, also partisan. When they were in opposition, they complained about taxes that the Ghanaian businessman is suffering. What do we see today? Apart from the e-levy, all taxes, including levies that we pay at our ports, remain same. They have not changed anything. I'm hereby exposing to you the hypocrisy of the NDC. VAT has not changed. In fact, for the mining companies, they have even increased the taxes, and they say because they are making profit, they have to increase it over and above what they came to meet. Now, ask yourself again about our utility. Electricity tariffs. Now, we are paying more. We are paying more than they came to meet. And even so, Doomsaw is back. Their other card they are playing is the persecution of MPP appointees. So, to create the impression that they are all righteous, to create the impression that the situation was bad and there was corruption, they've targeted former appointees. I want to assure them that we will never surrender. They can never use this to cow us into self-preservation to crush the MPP spirit. To enable them achieve this, they now want to control our courts. So what are we seeing? The attempt to sack the Chief Justice. I, on behalf of the Minority Caucus, hereby say that what we're witnessing today under John Mahama-led government is a systematic and calculated assault on the independence of the judiciary. An institution that we all know is the last line of defense for the rule of law, the protection of rights, and the survival of our democratic republic. Today, what we see is intimidation, political interference, and open targeting of judges who are perceived as inconvenient and non-compliant. It is not just unacceptable, it is repugnant to good conscience. The current attacks on the Chief Justice and the broader attempt to politicize the bench must be seen for what they are. And here, our Council of State failed our democracy.
Totally.
They rehearsed the suspension of the Chief Justice. They got a fake research done, threw it into the air. The majority of Ghanaians want the Chief Justice sacked. Before even the Council of State received the so-called petitions, the NDC papers were all over in town saying that the Chief Justice was going to be suspended. Clearly, they had rehearsed the agenda. And if you look at the petitions, for all that I've read, I find it very unfortunate. In this country, we know that when the president, the first lady, travel, the cost is borne by the states. Same with the Speaker of Parliament. He and his immediate family going on official trip. Why will the official travel of the Chief Justice, which is backed by a judiciary policy now become a subject matter of a kangaroo investigation. And they claim that she caused financial loss to the state, etc., etc. But I have something to tell our respected judges. Some of them, I am aware, we are aware, that are being promised by the NDC government. Today, it is Tokonu. Tomorrow, it may be them. They should listen and listen well. I want all judges in the country to know that their institution is under attack. The NDC government is approaching you, the judges, telling you that, oh, Tokonu does not have a good interpersonal relationship. She is snobbish, she is this, she is that. But I want you to know that if they allow them to use you today, tomorrow they will come after you. Yep. Act collective. Yes. It is your institution which is under attack. Our demonstration on Monday is not about our party or parties. It's about protecting the institutional integrity of our republic. It's about drawing a line in defense of the Constitution. And it's about telling those in power, you may have your term, but you do not own the state.
Thank you.
The framers of our Constitution understood that democracy without an independent judiciary is no democracy at all. That is why we are gathering on Monday, 5th of May, to say enough is enough. To say that the people of Ghana will not sit idly by while their courts are captured. To say that the power may change hands, but the Constitution must always stand. And to the people of Ghana, our fellow countrymen and women, we invite you to join us. This is not just about the few political parties determining to go on the streets. Of course, we are going on a peaceful demonstration. This is not Parliament's fight. It is a fight for every citizen who wants to live in a country where the law is supreme and no man, no matter how powerful, is above the law. We say that there must be an end to the division and the anger of the past. This government must tread with the greatest caution, always keeping tomorrow in mind when taking decisions today, because these decisions may shape future governance. If we continue down this path, we risk creating a culture of retaliatory politics, where successive governments are more focused on settling political scores than solving problems. Last but not the least, it is obvious that the bold attempt by Mr. President to nominate out of the blue 7 judges to the Supreme Court is the first major attempt at all that they have rehearsed, a 3rd term agenda. All that the NDC is doing, all that our president is doing through the advice of the hawks of NDC is to set a 3rd term agenda for his leadership. They think that by packing the judiciary, there will be a smooth road for that 3rd term agenda. Were we not in this country where even 2 Supreme Court nominees, after going through vetting and were supposed to take their approval at the plenary, the same NDC said by adding 2 more judges to the Supreme Court bench, Nana Addo was packing the courts? Was it not the same NDC where that criticized the proposal to even nominate for appointment 5 more judges to the Supreme Court, and as a result, no further step was taken by the Judicial Council? What has changed? We leave it to the good conscience of they themselves. But we want to tell them that we will not relent. We, in Parliament, will hold their feet to the fire and fight for the ordinary Ghanaian. Please join us 5 a.m. on Monday the 5th of May on this peaceful demonstration. Thank you very much. God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The minority.
So there you have it. You saw the minority leader in Parliament, Alexander Fenwumakin, addressing that particular press conference, which is currently underway at the NPP's national headquarters there. Speaking about several things, amongst them including the 7 new judges that the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has nominated to the Supreme Court. He says, the NDC criticized the 2 that Nana Addo nominated in the latter part of his government, and asking them that if the 2 meant that Nana Addo was packing the court, what does the 7 mean? He will leave that to their conscience. But a lot of things that he said there. Let's go back to the NPP's headquarters, because Henry Nana Boakye, who is the organizer of the party, the national organizer, also spoke on the varied issues concerning this particular demonstration they want to embark on. Listen.
An assault that has now culminated into a dangerous and unconstitutional move. The suspension and planned removal of Chief Justice of the Republic, Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Iraba Isaba Saki Tokuno, by none other than Mr. Mahama himself. The NPP profoundly disapproves and vehemently condemns this blatant disregard for constitutional order, judicial sanctity, and democratic norms. This action, taken under the pretext of Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, constitutes a grave threat to judicial independence, a reckless abuse of executive discretion, and an affront to the rule of law. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we consider this suspension not only unconstitutional, but procedurally flawed, but also politically motivated and executed with alarming disregard for the sanctity of due process. Additionally, Article 146 clearly stipulates that the President has no direct authority to suspend or remove the sitting justice of the Superior Court, including the Chief Justice, without recourse to an independent investigative mechanism. In such matters, the President is merely a transmitting agent, not a judge, prosecutor, a decision maker. Therefore, his suspension of the Chief of Staff is ultra-virus, unconstitutional, and must be rescinded without any delay. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the NPP also wishes to highlight a glaring ethical impropriety. This is very important, and my colleague mentioned it, and I'm going to re-emphasize it as well. In the composition of the 5-member committee tasked with the mandate to investigate the Chief Justice, The appointment of Justice Puaman as a chair is inappropriate. Justice Puaman, having authored a Supreme Court ruling directly connecting to the petition against the Chief Justice, cannot be deemed to be an impartial adjudicator on this matter. His involvement erodes public interest and represents a conflict of interest. The refusal to recuse himself, despite the availability of other qualified justices of the Supreme Court, suggests a deliberate manipulation of the process to secure a determination that is already preconceived. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the MPP wishes to express concern over a deeply troubling and undemocratic posture adopted by the President towards Ghana's judiciary, which reflects a dangerous mindset and a diabolical agenda to manipulate the courts for political expediency. Addressing the closing ceremony of the 3rd Annual Lawyers Conference of the NDC in Akosombo, the then former president, who was then the NDC flag bearer, made troubling statement that revealed his intentions to pack the court with politically aligned judges should he return to power. In his own words, he said, "Currently, the judiciary is filled with judges who are favorable to the MPP because this government has deliberately appointed supporters to the bench." These statements confirm a thoughtful and a deliberate plan by Mr. Mahama and the NDC to transform Ghana's independent judiciary into a partisan tool favoring their political fortunes. This betrayal of the democratic principles of separation of powers and an insult to the professionalism and competence of our judges who have sworn oath to uphold justice without fear or favor. With current happenings, Ghanaians must take these pronouncements seriously. At the time, a former president and presidential candidate, Mr. Mahama, openly advocated for political infiltration of the judiciary, which poses a grave threat to our constitutional democracy. Mr. Mahama's comments do not promote judicial reform or independence. They reveal a calculated intent to corrupt the judicial process for political gains. The peace, stability, and rule of law we enjoy as a nation must not be sacrificed on the altar of political manipulation. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we echo the legitimate concerns raised by the Ghana Bar Association and other political parties gathered here, such as the LPG, the NDP, and the PMP. The GBA bold resolution at its mid-year conference condemning the suspension and threatening legal action reinforces the seriousness of this constitutional crisis. Their stance affirms what many already know. The president's action is neither rooted in law nor the spirit of democratic principles. We caution that today, if Chief Justice Tokuno, tomorrow it could be any judge who dares to exercise independent judgment. This orchestrated assault on the judiciary threatens to dismantle the very institutional safeguards that preserve our democracy. Ghana cannot and must not descend into the state where political expediency overrides constitutional order. The MPP therefore demands the following: the immediate and unconditional reversal of Chief Justice Tokunu's suspension, full compliance with Article 146 and 296 in all future disciplinary proceedings involving justices of the Supreme Court. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the New Patriotic Party stands firm and unwavering in defense of Ghana's judiciary and the constitutional principles that uphold our democracy. The suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Eraba Esaba Saki Tokuno is not an isolated misstep. It is the most apparent manifestation yet of President Mahama and the NDC government. Grants designed to politicize, infiltrate, and ultimately capture judiciary for partisan control. This must not and will not stand. The 1992 Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It is not subject to the whims of any president, past, present, or future. Justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done. We are witnessing the unfolding of a dangerous script authored by President John Dramani Mahama, showing no regard for judicial independence, due process, or constitutional constraint. Mr. Mahama's words have betrayed his diabolical intent, and recent actions only confirms what we have long feared: a calculated effort to dismantle the separation of powers and turn our courts into political tool. But Ghana's democracy is stronger than anyone's ambition. The Chief Justice is the final bulwark between liberty and tyranny, and her unlawful removal signals a red line that must not be crossed. Ladies and gentlemen, we must therefore reiterate our call for the immediate reinstatement of the Chief Justice and the withdrawal of his unconstitutional action. The future of our republic, the confidence of our people in the judiciary, and the very soul of our democracy depends on this. Let it be known that the New Patriotic Party will fiercely and relentlessly resist any attempt to hijack our judicial system for any political gain. We urge Ghanaians across all divide to speak out and defend our constitution. We urge everyone to be part of this historic demonstration on Monday, 5th May. We will gather just opposite the Supreme Court. We will present the first petition at the Supreme Court. We will proceed to Parliament House, where we will present the second petition. And then we will proceed to the Jubilee House to present the final petition. We must all be part of this effort. There is this sinister motive by Mr. Mahama to pack the judiciary, to seek a judicial interpretation of the Constitution, which will interpret Article 62 so that he intends to go a third term. This agenda, inshallah, shall fail. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
So that was the national organizer of the NPP, Henry Nana Boakye, speaking earlier at the ongoing presser which is underway at the NPP's headquarters. But there's a lot happening in the NPP. As this particular news conference is underway in Accra, the party's leadership is also embarking on a thank you tour, which started from the Western region. Let's bring you some update from that, and then we'll get back to this particular news conference which is underway. We've been joined on the line by a former communications director of the party, Nana Akomia, who is joining us. Nana, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. I mean, we want to understand, we just heard that the national chairman of the party has withdrawn from the tour for some reasons. How has that impacted morale on the tour?
Well, thank you, sir. Yes, the national chairman could not join us. We got back last from the tour, and the rest of the night events, visit to the hospital to visit the young man who was injured, and then visit to Tumfor all in the night. He couldn't participate. In fact, his room is next to my room. And so when we left, he was having his dinner and informed me that he'll be leaving back to Accra today and then to recuperate, that he'll join us later. But it hasn't affected morale at all.
Okay. So where is that talk currently as we speak?
Sorry?
Where have you got into as we speak?
Oh, today we started from Joabeng, where we met how many constituencies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We met executives of 5 constituencies. If you do see judicial, Joabeng, Kumeru, etc., Pamplay. We're just rounding up at Agona, where we are meeting 5 constituencies. If you just Setre East, if you just Sechidomasi, Kwabre East, Mampong, and in Sutakwa, Man, we're just rounding up. When we finish, we'll be going to Ofinso, where we'll be meeting 4 constituencies. Efija Kwabre North, Efija Kwabre South, Ofinso North, Ofinso South, and then we return to Kumasi to stay the night. Tomorrow we'll move into Bronga Apple, Ebubu and Techiman, and then we go to Tamale. So it's going on very well.
Okay. Well, if you look at this tour, within the week, some leaders of the MPP, including a former chief of staff, has asked the party to, end the tour, come back and re-strategize to try to unite the party. Now, after that, the chairman has also, decided that he's going to pull out. We know Kennedy Japan has also pulled out. People say this is a sign that all is not well within the party. Isn't the party worried, or the leadership on the tour, aren't you worried about this development and how it affects the party's aim to reunite its base?
You need to be on the ground to see the enthusiasm of party people on the ground as we engage them. Like I said, the chairman has not withdrawn. Let me put it this way. He needs to rest. Let's put it that way. I'm sure you... Hello?
Hi, Nana, I'm here with you.
I'm sure you know the chairman.
Yes.
And it's just a very grueling form. You're visiting so many constituencies in a day, and you have to speak at each meeting. It's quite grueling. And the chairman needs to rest. So he hasn't withdrawn. I'm sure a day or two, when he feels rested, he will rejoin. The person who has withdrawn, who was officially part of it, who has withdrawn, Kennedy Japan. And it was a good thing for us, for the power, that he withdrew. Yes, I acknowledge the difficulties that attended upon the power in the early days, and I'm sure that is what occasioned the worry and anxiety of leaders of the party, like John P. like you mentioned. Yes, there were difficulties. The main of the difficulties was that right from the beginning, last Saturday, it was turning into a show of strength between let's say, the supporters of Baumia and Kennedy Japan, and that seeming rival culminated in the what happened at Bantama 2 days ago. So Kennedy Japan thought it wise that if his presence was creating this atmosphere of rival, then it was best that he withdrew. And that I commend him for that decision. So yesterday, the call went on without any of the things that we had seen earlier on, with that show of strength and rivalry and who can pull crowds.
Okay.
It was all missing. Yesterday was very calm. Today it's been very, very calm. I wouldn't blame anybody, but it's just that the mere presence of the two personalities attracted its own dynamics, very clear from the beginning.
Okay.
All right. And it was creating a problem. And that culminated in the scene where we had the unfortunate stabbing of some youth who had been organized to come and cheer on one of the personalities. I mean, for example, when we went to Bantam, even though some of us saw clear that as we progressed on the tour from last week Saturday, it was becoming a show of strength. We thought it could be contained, but it wasn't getting better, actually getting worse. And then we saw what happened at Bantama, where people had come with various banners proclaiming the welcome and support for one person or the other. It was
all right.
It wasn't the best atmosphere for thank you, Tora. So I'm very satisfied that Kennedy decided to withdraw.
Okay.
And so the tour has been going on very, very well, very peacefully since yesterday.
We are grateful to you, Nana, for joining us with these updates. So that's Nana Komyade. He is a former communications director of the NPP. But let's bring you back to the headquarters of the NPP, because a lot has been happening. The minority leader, Alexander Feomaki, has been speaking. And amongst other things, he's accusing the NDC of making the army partisan. They're trying to push away people they perceive not to align with the thinking of the NDC. He's also speaking against the government, the John Dramani Mahama government, of keeping taxes they spoke against. He says VAT has not changed in principle, and even for that, mining companies have had their taxes increased because, according to him, government says they're making too much profit. He also brought in the utility tariffs that have gone up. He says the attempt to push away the CJ, Gertrude Araba Tokonu, is an attempt to control the court. Then he went ahead to say that John Mahama and the NDC is now nominating 7 new judges into the Supreme Court because they want to set the tone for a third-term agenda for John Mahama. He then wants some judges who he says they know are being coerced to support the sacking of Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. He says, well, it could be Tokonu's time today, tomorrow, it could be your time. So he's rallying the judges to oppose the attempt by government to sack Gertrude Tokonu. Well, let's bring on the National Democratic Congress for a reaction on this particular matter, the news conference done by the NPP and 3 other political parties. They have already announced a demonstration, to protest the attempt by the government to sack Gertrude Tokonu. So we've been joined on the line by Dr. Rashid Tanko, who is the Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the NDC. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us.
Well, I'm grateful. Good afternoon. Let me say good afternoon to your cherished viewers.
Great. We also have on the line from the other side, Haruna Mohammed is Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. Haruna, great to have you here today.
Thank you.
Great. Well, let me come back. Let me come to you, Dr. Rashid Tanko. So you've heard the NPP there, the minority leader, say categorical things. Say, for example, that your attempt to push out the CJ is to control the judiciary arm of government. Why that? Why do you want to make sure that you take control of the judiciary? This is something you spoke against when you were in opposition.
Kojo, you see, these people should be dismissed with the contempt they deserve completely. This group can best be described as a hypocritical group. In fact, they are hypocrites. Complete hypocrites.
Why do you say so?
They just left office. They just left office about 4 months ago. They have not, since they left office, it appeared something is wrong with that party. It appeared they forgot that they ruled this party, this country for 8 years. They just forgot. about it, simply, as if they are in opposition for some 10 or 100 years. And they speak as if they've never governed this country. Look, Kojo, this is the constitution of the country. That's the 1992 constitution. Tell me, which part of it did the president or has the president violated? Which article of this that the president has violated? We have seen a pattern, and the pattern is like they have put in motion a process of undermining the authority of the president just because His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. That one there, we are not going to countenance it, and we are going to stand firmly behind His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for what they are doing. We thought they were just playing to the gallery, but it has now been in motion that they want to undermine the authority of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. That is what they are doing. Nanado ruled this country for 8 years. Nobody there undermined his authority. He exercised the president, his executive powers to the later. In fact, in full force. We had all these bodies in this country. Everybody, they were quiet. When Nanado was appointing judges upon judges, to the extent he was even appointing party apparatchiks who were party parliamentary candidates to the Supreme Court. Where were these hypocrites? Today, go and look at the Supreme Court. How many judges do we have? And see who appointed them there.
But Doc, but the appointment of those judges coincided with a number of judges also going on retirement. Not so.
I am saying that point to me which part the president did wrong or the president has violated the constitution. They are referring to the removal and cogitating. I don't know when MPP becomes soothsayers or sorcerers that they can just think for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama or the NDC. They are cogitating, and in their cogitating mind, they want everybody to believe them. Look, just December, a certain lawyer, a professor of law, Kweku Azah, wrote to the president in a petition asking that the president should remove Madam Tokono. It wasn't under the regime of NDC. It was under MPP. The president haven't received the petition. Look, under Article 146, I'm holding it here. And under Article 146, clause 6 and 10. Go and read there. Clause 6, what did they say? The president will, in consultation with the Council of State, if a prima facie case has been found, will form a committee. And Article 10 of it, the Article 106, clause 10, is giving president some powers here. And I'll read. In fact, for the benefit of those who don't have the handshake of having the constitution, where a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, the president may discretionary powers. Judges have discretionary powers. Judges, they have discretionary powers. That's why I'm surprised at GBA. Judges, they have the president also has his discretionary powers in the constitution. May, in the case of the Chief Justice, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State by warrant signed by him, suspend the Chief Justice. The premise, when they wrote this thing in the Constitution, they didn't write it for children to come and play. Okay. They wrote it there for implementation. Now the president, in consultation with the Council of State, by warrant, has suspended the. Has he done anything wrong? Okay. Where are they getting this thing from? Just to undermine the president because he's John Dramani Mahama or what? Nanado did similar thing. Kojo, let me land here. Nanado did similar thing. President Nanado, former president now, wrote and sent it to the Council of State then. The Council of State, haven't satisfied with the petition, said there was no prima facie. Is that not true? Yeah, that's it. And went back to the president. The president, haven't satisfied himself with the response from the Council of State, dismissed the petition. That one there, nobody saw anything wrong with it. Because it was Nanado. Nobody saw anything wrong with it. Today, you have all manner of legal luminaries coming in and jumping upon themselves and telling us all manner of things as if the president has violated the Constitution. It's here, point out just one part of the articles that the president has violated. That the heads must break loose.
But, Doc, I mean, when they say your attempt to push out the CJ and also to pack the court with new judges is your attempt to, get a further third term for John Mahama. Don't they have a point? When you, in 2024, your General Secretary said there were enough judges on the bench to deal with judicial issues, and therefore there were no need for the president to keep nominating judges to the Supreme Court.
As we speak now, vacancies have been created in the court. Is that not true?
How many?
As we speak now, there are vacancies.
Are they 7?
Some have gone on retirement.
Are they 7?
Some have gone on retirement.
Are they 7?
I'm saying that the president is acting based on the constitution. Have we put ceiling into it?
No. But I'm only asking this because you in 2024 said the president should not appoint and nominate people to the bench because there were enough judges on the bench to deal with issues.
Yes, why we said that at that time was that this was an existing president. We were exiting.
Okay.
You were leaving the presidency. And you wanted to appoint judges ahead of those retirement. People are not retired. He has already thought that they were going to retire. And therefore, he wanted to appoint ahead of them.
Okay.
That was why we fight. And he said this president, Nana Akufo-Addo, appointed over 55 judges under his presidency. 55. High Court, over 40. Appeal Court, 11. The rest, go to the Supreme Court and see them. Where were all these noisemakers? But when the president, Nana Addo, was doing all this, His Excellency just appointed 7. And hell must break loose. Somebody who did over 55, we can count one each of them from High Court, Appeal Court to Supreme Court. Most of them, we know them, party apparatchiks. Nobody had any comments to that. We told them that what you were doing. Nobody said Nana Addo was looking for a third term. Did we say Nana Addo was looking for a third term when he was putting all these people at the Supreme Court? When Nana Addo removed Charlotte Osei and her deputies, did we say Nana Addo was looking for a third term? Did we come to say Nana Addo wanted to go for a third term? Therefore, he wanted to put judges and electoral commissioners pliable to the government of MPP. Did we say that? Okay. That's why I said when MPP becomes sorcerers, this is witchcraft, and we must dismiss it.
Okay, I'm grateful to you, but I want to ask you, they say they would, demonstrate to the Flagstaff House to present their petition. Will you allow them to do it?
Oh, you see, demonstration is a constitutional right for everybody. It's allowed. This constitution allows for demonstration.
Okay.
If you are not happy with certain action.
Okay.
And as a political party, we will not go arresting people using the court or the coercive force of state when people demonstrate. Just yesterday, some people demonstrated, they were arrested and prosecuted. Today, the Flagstaff House, just about a week ago or so, some group went there in the night. They even went in the night. We didn't say they were going to pose security threat to the presidency. We allowed them. They came and demonstrated. They said they wanted to be there up to midnight. By 10, they ran away. Everybody left them because they saw the hypocrisy in it. So if MPP, they have satisfied themselves with the Public Order Act, and they have been granted the right to go and demonstrate, the NDC will not prevent them.
Okay.
NDC, we are not like them.
Okay.
We will not prevent. It's a democratic right. But we are saying that nobody should dare misbehave with the security of the state just because you are demonstrating. That one there, we won't take it. We won't countenance it. They know it, and they know what we are made up of. That go and do your peaceful demonstration, send your petition, it will be looked at, the appropriate authorities will look at it and see the merit of it. But don't use it as a yardstick to go and disturb the public peace. That one there, we won't take it. Nobody should dare undermine the authority of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We are telling them.
Okay.
They shouldn't.
All right.
But the NDC will not accept it.
Okay. All right. Let me bring in Haruna Mohammed now. He is Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. Haruna, the president is undertaking a constitutional obligation. Why fight him on that?
Thank you very much, Kojo Brace. I would like to say good afternoon to your Charles US and then my good brother, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer, a renowned propagandist who I know will always run around not to speak directly to the party.
Why do you describe him as a renowned propagandist? Well, he's not doing propaganda here.
It is an established fact that it's only in the NDC that a position called a propaganda officer was established. And at that time, he was an officer of the party. He served through several ranks within the party to the status of a regional director of elections and to the deputy director of elections at the national level. So he understands how propaganda plays.
But I'm not sure that makes me a propagandist. Anyway, but let me hear your response to my question. Yeah.
He asked certain questions that we should tell the people of the country what law has John Mahama broken with respect to the 1992 Constitution. Well, we have what we call principle. And if you set your own principle and you break that principle, you tend to be hypocritical. July, on the same media platform, your platform, the multimedia platform, 7th of July 2024, when His Excellency, the former president then and the current president of the Republic today, said that there is no need to appoint judges to the Supreme Court, and that when he becomes president, he's going to put a limit to that. It is reported on the multimedia platform, specifically Joy, on the 7th of July, 2024. This was the principle that he was holding as a former president and a former statesman. God willing, he has been given the mandate. He came and he's doing a different thing altogether. My brother is talking about Nanado appointing 65 judges. The argument was not, I repeat, was not the appointment of judges into the other courts of the land. It was to the Supreme Court of Ghana. This is the highest of appointment, 7, without any recourse, whether there is retirement. And I'm happy when you asked him the question, he could not answer. He could not answer whether there is people are going on retirement. I am telling you that there is no anybody going on retirement in the next 1 month that should warrant an appointment of over 7 people to be impaneled. Well, I just hope that these 7 people they are sending onto the Supreme Court, should they go to court and lose case, they should stop branding them. Again, he talked about people being parliamentary candidates and they have been appointed to the Supreme Court.
But Haruna, before you go there, is it not right to say that the Constitution does not place a limit on the number of judges the president can appoint? Is it not right to say that?
I'm not in argument with that, but I'm in argument with the principle that was held by a statesman who wanted to put a limit, who questioned appointment to the Supreme Court, who frowned his face on such activity to come back to approbate and reprobate. It means that that person lacks principle. That person is a hypocrite. That person cannot hold the sanctity of the judiciary. That person cannot make appropriate laws to be able to govern because the person will make and break them. The principle is broken. Secondly, he's talking about the president following a constitutional duty and quoting copiously from Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, quoting sections of 6 and 10. And when he was reading, he didn't reveal his mind to say that the president may, when it is said may, there are 2 key words in the Constitution of the Republic, shall and may. The may we are talking about here is a discretionary power. It is just a right. And the point of discretionary power is also expressed in Article 296 of the 1992 Constitution. There are limitations and guidelines to the exercise of discretion. It is not a compulsory act to suspend the Chief Justice because the Constitution, the framers of the Constitution was very clear in their mind that the Chief Justice could still be on the seat what investigations go through. Again, if you go and read the Ghana Law Report of 2005-2006, Professor Gatiba, Justice Sophia Kufu, and many others who are reported in this particular Ghana Law Report have questioned the criteria for the committee that is going to sit to be able to get to the bottom of this matter. And they have quoted sections of the 1992 Constitution, Article 240 something to 245, where guidelines have been issued for courts to be able to adjudicate on certain matters. They have also questioned that there should have been a criteria set by the Constitution for this particular committee to exercise that particular right, which is not being set out. Nobody is questioning. But you ask yourself, if you are saying that the Chief Justice had traveled with what else, did you make your mind to the travel policy that you put on in 2010?
Well, but Haruna, those are issues the committee will listen to the defense and make a conclusion at the end of the day. So really,
but we are saying that the committee, per the Constitution, has not been given the requisite guideline, terms of reference. It is the committee that will sit down and set their own. The Constitution should have
you and I don't know that. Do you know that specifically?
No,
for sure.
No,
that they have not been given any terms of reference.
I have read the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court the Ghana Law Report of the Supreme Court of 2005-2006.
That is fine.
Very respected judges have questioned.
I get to argue, but I'm asking whether you know for sure that when the president set up this committee, the committee was not given any terms of reference within which they would do their work.
Even if there is any terms of reference they were given, it is not stipulated in the Constitution. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
So in the crafting of such terms of reference, the Constitution should have given a specific criteria so that nobody can be whimsical and capricious to set up any particular terms of reference that will inure to the benefit and desire of the purpose of which the person is setting up. Don't forget that this is a party, when they were in opposition, told us that they want to balance the judiciary. And they are encouraging their party people who are lawyers to join the bench. And they promise them that when they come, they will put them there. Is that what we are seeing today? Why is the president exercising a mere discretion, standing on the stance of 296 of the 1992 Constitution to suspend the Chief Justice, and not long, the president is appointing 7 members to the Supreme Court. Not too long. That is what the president is doing. We are watching. When we are talking about the democracy of our country, every basic student knows that we have 3 arms of government: the judiciary, the legislature, and the executives. The executive should not have powers over such other 2 institutions. And the Constitutional Review Committee that His Excellency President Mahama refused to assent to after it was done under Professor Mills stated clearly in that particular review committee that the president is overly powered to have hands over the other arms of government. Okay. When we are talking about independent state institutions, these are the 3 independent state institutions, and Ghanaians should revert their mind and get the understanding of where I am coming from.
But
the president is the head of the executive. The president is the head of the executive.
Yes.
The president has majority in parliament, almost 2/3. The president now wants to appoint his own people into the judiciary and hold the whole country to ransom. That is exactly where the president is going. Ghanaians should open their eyes and fight for the independent state of the independent institutions.
So Haruna, let me get something clear. Are you then alluding to the allegation when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was nominating people to the Supreme Court, and they said the president was trying to control the judiciary? That's why he made those nominations, because that's the argument you're making now.
Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo didn't make a statement when he was in opposition about balancing the judiciary with his party people. There is no such record. We have a record of a former president who was a candidate, made a point before lawyers of NDC that he is going to balance it, and his people should join the bench, and he's going to appoint them. So much as this is being said, and it was said in opposition, and it is happening in government, definitely there is that intent and meaning to what he said in opposition. And that is why we are drawing conclusions to this.
Okay. All right, I hear. Doc, so you say that they have the liberty to demonstrate. But if they should go beyond board, you would make sure that you tame them. I mean, what will make you come to the conclusion that they've gone beyond board?
Oh, by their history. I mean, we know them. You know the history of MPP when it comes to demonstration. They misbehave a lot. That one there, we know them. So, in fact, we are red alert and watching them. We know their history, how they behave when they are doing demonstration in opposition. And so this is not new thing to us.
Are you saying your security is on red alert to watch out for some things in this demonstration?
The security will not allow, not that the security is going to do anything against them. No, far from that. The security will be there to protect them, to have their peaceful demonstration. Even these people have no problem with that. The security is there to do that. But you see, Kojo, we must be principled and straight to the point. My good brother just made allusion to a statement made by His Excellency. That's far from the truth. I was in that meeting. I was there. I sat through the process throughout. And there was no way the president said, I'm going to appoint NDC people as judges or other things. The president never made such a statement over there. He was just encouraging them because it appeared a lot of our lawyers were not interested going to the bench. That's why he was just encouraging them, but he never made that comment. And in any case, the 7 he has appointed, just
hold on. What was he encouraging them to go to the bench for? What did he say exactly? You were there.
No, these are sector. Some of them want to be in private sector. He was encouraging to come to government because when you are in the bench, you join the government. I mean, to help, because a lot of them, when they come in there, it will support the judicial system and all, because they have found best brains among them who are in the private sector.
So he said they should get to the bench to help what?
Oh, are they not going to help the judicial system of this country?
Oh, okay.
When people are on the bench, I don't know helping the judicial system.
Oh, okay. I wanted to understand.
To support the process of governance in this country. Why are they sitting in the bench? People are appointed to the bench to support that. And we are saying that the president did no wrong when he made such statement. And then now, today, he did some 7 appointments. None of them participated in any of our electoral process or any of our party legal committee. Go and check all the 7. I have the data of all our lawyers who are party members and party activities that we did for the 2024 election. None, 7 of them, none of them, not even a single one. That tells you that the president wants the best for the country. And he has done just that. So we are saying that, look, compare that one. When they are talking of independent body, I don't think electoral commission is not an independent body. Independent body, electoral commission is the constitution, it's an independent body. The president sacked a whole electoral commission and her deputies. That one, they didn't see anything wrong. They didn't know that they were bastardizing the independent body. The president didn't stop that. The auditor general, who was then there, the auditor.
No, but hold on. If you say the president sacked the electoral commission chairperson and her deputies, are you saying he just got up and sacked them, or he followed due process to do that?
Now, you see, I'm happy you have asked this question. They use Article 146, a process that when the petition was received, they sent the petition to the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice, having satisfied herself that there was a prima facie case, they formed a committee to look at the matter. Is that not true?
Yes.
And went through the matter and submitted their report to the president, indicating that the president should fire them. Is that not true? The president, having satisfied himself with that thing, could have rejected it, but he went ahead and accepted the report and fired them. It was fired by the president. Now, the president today has received a petition against the same thing, which was received by Nanado, the same process. The president followed through the process and formed a committee now for the committee to go into the matter, for Madame Tokuno to avail herself before the committee. Now, these people haven't satisfied themselves. They want to undermine the president authority, as saying they are hitting the road because the president is forming a committee to go. So the president shouldn't form a committee. I indicated it. Article 146(10), clause 10, gave president discretionary powers.
Yeah.
Judges have it. Judges, they have discretionary powers. That is why a judge, they will look at the matter. Instead of him jailing you for 10 years, he has a discretionary power to take the lower one and he can decide to give you 5 years or 3 years. It's a discretionary power. He can decide to go to the upper limit or go the lower limit. It's a discretionary power.
Yeah.
The president also has that discretionary power, either to suspend or not to suspend. He decided to suspend. Has he done anything wrong? Are they soothsayers to think for the president? He said, fine, this committee has been formed. You step aside, let the committee investigate the matter. Let's wait for their report. The president has not dismissed the Chief Justice. Let's put it on record. The president only suspended the Chief Justice under Article 146, Clause 10. Go and read. It's a simple English there.
But he makes the argument. He makes the argument that, I mean, if you look at the 7 judges who have been nominated for appointment, in the immediate term, there is no Chief Justice of the Supreme Court who is going on retirement. And so he's asking, why 7 when no one is going out? How do you respond to that?
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. As we speak now, there is an acting Chief Justice.
Yes.
Yes, there's an acting Chief Justice. Some have died, some are due for retirement. They will end by the close of the month. There's a lot of vacancies.
By the close of the month. By the close of the month.
The president is just working around the clock.
No, hold on.
By the vacancies. You remember
hold on. You are saying that one is acting, and by the close of the month, someone is going on retirement. Who is that? Who's going on retirement?
Kojo, I'm saying that at the time they appointed the 2 judges.
Yeah.
You remember some were pending.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yes.
Some were pending. It didn't go through.
Yeah.
Because of the lapse, the process was stalled somewhere along the line. But then you remember the Chief Justice, who is now on suspension, recommended some 5 people to the president to appoint. If there were no vacancies, why would she be recommending 5 people?
Okay.
Plus the 2 that they were adding up. So add the 5 plus the 2. Which number are you getting?
You have a point.
Are you not getting 7?
You have a point.
That is what we are talking about. So the president did no wrong. And the president has appointed the finest brains in terms of legal luminary issues. And they are there. The 7 he has appointed. Just look at them and tell me whether they are not qualified or whether these people are not best brains and whether they have anything to do with the NDC. I am saying that I was the operational officer of the election directorate, and I dealt with Edwige, who was the director of legal service, and we know the history, the number of lawyers under the role, and who worked for the party at that point. These 7, none of them appeared in any of NDC activities or anything.
Okay.
But I can, if you want to go that tangent, they want to go that tangent, and we can refer to them on certain issues. We are saying we don't want to go that path. We just want to make sure that the president is within the constitution, and I'm still holding the 1992 constitution. He has not violated any article. But we have a president who violated this very constitution. My brother Haruna and Co didn't see anything wrong. He removed it from level. Supreme Court ruled against it and said what he did was wrong. The way he removed the gentleman from office was wrong. The Supreme Court is on the rule against the president. And that means that the president violated the constitution. Nobody break heads. At that time, they didn't see anything wrong with that because it was Nadado. Today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is going through the same process.
Can we assume by this submission that the petition and the demonstration actually will amount to nothing because the response has already been provided?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that we are not stopping anybody from demonstrating.
Oh yes, I know, but I'm just saying that do we take it that, I mean, the petitions already have had the answer they are seeking?
The petitioners?
Yeah, I mean, the petition they are bringing, it is to petition against the removal. And I'm saying, do we already have the answer to them?
Oh, but it's clear. That's why I'm saying that I refer you to the enabling article in the Constitution, whether the president has violated it. That somebody will have to bring another petition and say on demonstration that he has done something wrong. What wrong has he done? What they should tell me, I'm so much interested. He should tell me that discretionary power, that under Article 10, 146 Clause 10 of the 1992 Constitution gave him discretionary powers, which is made. And he exercised the discretionary powers. And I'm saying he's not the only person under this Constitution to exercise discretionary power. The Chief Justice, the one on suspension, exercised several discretionary powers when he was sitting on the bench there. Judges, high court judges, appeal court judges, even lower court judges, they exercise discretionary powers. How come the president cannot exercise discretionary powers? Is it because he's John Dramani Mahama? That's the question I continue to ask myself.
Okay.
He has exercised discretionary powers, and that one there, hell must break loose. Kojo, hell must break loose for him exercising a discretionary power. No, I don't get it.
Okay.
They should just allow the process to go through. The committee has been formed. The committee will be sitting. There's already an acting Chief Justice currently. So there's no vacuum at the Supreme Court there in terms of leadership of the judiciary. It's working.
Okay.
There's
All right.
nothing wrong with that.
I get
and
you.
then, so I don't see anything wrong. Please, they should respect. They are fine lawyers. The MPP, I know them. Fine brains among them. Fine lawyers among them. Very brainy guys. They should call their people to order. What they are doing is not the best.
I hear.
They should call them to order.
I'm grateful. Haruna Mohammed, so there you have it. Why not allow the process to run through? And then you can take your issue with it if you're not satisfied.
Kojo,
Yeah.
Kojo, when we talk about independent institutions, we have classes of the independent institutions. One of the independent institutions we are talking about here is part of the arms of government. The Electoral Commission is not an arm of government. The Auditor General is not an arm of government. Any of the three arms of government, their hands must not be twisted to fit what the executive wants to do. That is what we have to correct. The Electoral Commission and the Auditor General, they are not arms of government.
Are you by that saying that you can meddle in the affairs of the EC and the Auditor General?
I am coming to that place because the Constitution aspect, that the one he's quoting, that Article 146, there are limitations to what you do to the Chief Justice, who is one of the arms, who has one of the arms of government. In case of the other two, it passes through one of the arms of government to the other arm of government and proceed to the other arm of government. But in this case, it is one of the arms of government which must be protected. If the president has exercised his discretion as contained in 14610, and the stage of discretion is also stated in Article 296 of the 1992 Constitution, and it is said the exercise of any discretionary power can be questioned and can go to court. So what the demonstrators are doing, it is not against any provision of the 1992 Constitution. They are exercising equally their right to question, to argue, to demonstrate, because the Constitution has given them that particular mandate. And I want to state it. When you asked him in the first time, I was refraining not to talk about it. It looks as if these people, the arrogance of power is setting in very early. They are questioning the mindset of the people. They are threatening the citizens of the country as if the goodwill that was given them through the elections is going to stay forever. They should learn, reflect, rethink, and get to understand that Ghanaians are very, very, very active when it comes to political governance. They watch our words, they watch our attitude, they watch our work, and they look at us and pass their judgment. They should tone down. They should tone down in threatening people. They should tone down in the use of words against people exercising their right in the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
Okay.
And I want to say, if he's saying that there were 2 people, there were 5 people, are the people dead? Are the 5 people, are they not justices in the other courts of Ghana? If they wanted to appoint 7, those people, why didn't they pick them? Is it because they are not aligned to their party? That is why they left them and they have appointed 7. Kojo, must you sit on a committee of a party to be appointed? Did you tell me? All the persons that have been appointed into government, including the person that has been appointed to Gapoha, he's a military officer. Which committee did he serve? Which committee did he serve before he was appointed to Gapoha? So people sit behind the scenes and they do a lot of things for them.
Okay. All right.
So why didn't they appoint the 5 people that the suspended Chief Justice had recommended? Why didn't they appoint them? Why are they appointing people?
I'm grateful to you.
We must raise legitimate questions to such appointment. People who cannot stand on their own principle. People who cannot look at themselves and say what I said in the past was right. They still stand by it.
I'm grateful to you.
Exposed by their own book, My First Coup d'etat, where they could not take a decision on their own and had to appoint 3 wise men to guide them. Who is guiding His Excellency the President? Who is making the appointment? Who is talking to him?
Thank you very much, Haruna Mohammed. I'm grateful to you. He is Deputy General Secretary of the MPP. And we also heard from Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. He is Deputy Director of Elections and IT of the NDC. Now, Kimathi Rafiatu Adia on Facebook says, President Mahama should appoint another 15 justices to the Supreme Court next week and the MPP can bend the seat. Mariam Adams says, during the time of the MPP, they justify everything Nana did without saying A. But these same people have the nerves to talk today. MPP, you are not first-class citizens. Okay, I mean, several of you are sending in your thoughts there. This is the postal to come here. The Ghana National Fire Service says it saved some 550 million cedis worth of properties from destruction between January and December 2024. We have a lot of data on that one, plus a reaction on that particular story here on the post. Stay with us. Well, welcome back from the break. The Ghana National Fire Service is revealing it saved over 550 million cedis worth of property from fire destruction between January and December 2024. In a just released statement, the fire service also identified 5 major causes of fires during the period under review. Let's break it down for you on the key findings that they made there. If you just on your screen, you see the breakdown there. It talks about, if you're looking at the comparative analysis of fire outbreaks between 2023 and 2024, you realize that in 2023, the country recorded some 5,973 fire outbreaks. It jumped by 7.8% to 6,436 fire outbreaks in 2024. That is a whopping jump there. Now, if you look at the cost of salvaged properties, so properties that were prevented from burning through those outbreaks, the fire service recorded some 550.19 million Ghana cedis in 2024. In 2023, that was 211.76 million, which means that the amount of salvaged properties jumped by 159.8%. That is a massive jump. But what caused, what brought about this massive jump in terms of, the properties that they salvaged? But even before we get there, let's look at the causes. The 5 things fire service discovered were the major causes of fire outbreaks. One is electrical faults, because people do the wrong connections and what have you. That causes fire outbreaks. Again, gas leakages from improper use of LPG stoves and cylinders. That's one major, causes of fire outbreaks. Again, indiscriminate burning of refuse and bushes. So somebody sets fire to a bush or refuse somewhere and leaves it. Sometimes you see some under electricity poles and you ask yourself, who can do this? You set fire under, a high tension and you leave it there. 4, misuse of naked lights such as mosquito coils, candles, lighters, and matches. And we hear of stories like, they ask people, victims, and they also, we left candles on and then it burnt. That's how it is. The 5th point has to do with lightning effect, carelessness, negligence, accidental, hot works, and deliberate act. So for deliberate act in market, we call it arson. These are the 5 major things they say they identified. What about death? The death as recorded by the fire service in this accident? In 2023, 27 deaths were recorded. In 2024, we had a reduction to 25, which means that a 7.41% reduction in related deaths of fire incidents. So it then commensurate with amount of money of property salvaged in 2024. In 2023, 27 people died. In 2024, 25 people died. In 2025, the Ghana National Fire Service was able to save over 550 million cedis worth of properties from burning. That's it. Well, in injuries, in 2023, we recorded 108 people being injured in fire outbreaks. But in 2024, there was a 50% reduction to 54, injuries in 2028. Well, joining me on Zoom now is Head of Public Relations at, the Ghana National Fire Service, Desmond Aka. Also on Zoom is a public safety, expert, Dr. Okwe, who is joining us for us to have this discussion. Let me start with you, Desmond Aka. So, Desmond, I when I saw it, I was fascinated by your figures. How were you able to come by the amount of property that you salvaged?
Well, let me say a very good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers, and a happy Workers' Day as well.
Same to you.
We have been doing our best over the period, that a lot of attention has not been given to the Ghana National Fire Service when it comes to what we do in salvaging properties and even saving lives as well. So for every fire that we attend, we do our estimates to know those that we've been able to save and those that have gone down the drain by the fire. And therefore, based on our data, available data, we were able to compute 550 million cedis worth of properties that were salvaged from fire routes in 2024 as compared to that of 2023. This is attributed to our improved communication system that we have, implemented over the period. And then also, there has been some massive improvement in our response time, especially where we have functional tenders and our fire stations closer to where these incidents are occurring. Then automatically it will mean that at the least available time, let's say within 4 or 5 minutes, we are able to respond. And anytime we have been able to respond within the international response standard time, that is between 4 to 5 minutes, we are able to save much of these properties from going down by the fire. And that is what we focused our attention on, especially within the past few years, and especially last year. And that has culminated into this massive property salvage.
This should be big news to you.
Sure, definitely. You see, per the figures that we have, it is not only about the cost of salvage, it is also even about the lives that we have been able to save. If you compare, in 2023, we lost some lives through fires. And in 2024, if you look at the figures that we have, it came down. In terms of death, it came down slightly, let's say from 27 in 2023 to 25 in 2024, representing about 7.141% decrease. That is significant. If we are able to save more lives, it means that a lot more people would have their peace of mind to go about their businesses. It means that people will not over-concentrate on their security. They will barricade themselves within this hardcore burglar proofing. But rather, even as they consider the security, securing their lives and their property, they are also thinking about their safety as well. And if you look at the out on arrival incidents, that is because over the period, we've also been able to intensify our public education efforts. A lot more of Ghanaians have now become assertive. They now know basic means of effectively managing fires even before they get out of hand. You know, during fire emergency, every second count. So the more you delay, the more the fire also gets to grow and then spread its tentacles. But once we've been able to achieve that, it means that when the fires do occur, the people are able to respond positively and they're able to contain the fire even before we get to the fire scene. And that's also culminated.
So you were able to salvage some 550 million cedis. But how does it compare to the ones that we lost? How much property we lost in that year under review?
Well, if you look at the properties that we lost, there was also a little over 50% increase. Okay. But in 2023, it was around 177,000, over 177,000. But in 2024, it inched up to over 270,000 Ghana cedis. And that is also huge if you look at the property that were destroyed. Okay. So this also calls to question that if we have more fire stations closer to our communities, if the Ghana National Fire Service is resourced with state-of-the-art modern fire and rescue equipment, that is where when the fire occurs, we are able to respond within 4 or 5 minutes and to be able to save these properties from fire wounds. But because we are not everywhere, sometimes we are forced to travel well over 30 minutes. And before we get there, a lot of damage might have been caused. And this is why a lot of Ghanaians have had issues with us. But that is not our fault, and we are not supposed to.
I guess the figure you were mentioning is in millions, not in thousands.
Yes. It's in millions. 177 million. As against 270 million.
All right. Due to Desmond, I'm grateful to you for joining us, sir.
Thank you so much.
Now, still on fire, in today's fire series, we head to the Ashaiman Municipal Main Market, where illegal electricity connections, fueled by delays in ECG's release of meters and severe overcrowding, have been blamed for repeated fires. Victims of the most recent blaze say they are still struggling to recover. Having lost hundreds of thousands of cedis with no compensation from authorities, they are now demanding a complete overhaul of the market to prevent future disasters. Carlos Caloni visited the market and has come through this report.
Built in the early 90s for a small group of traders, the Ashaiman Municipal Main Market has grown into a major commercial hub, but has seen little expansion, leading to severe overcrowding and frequent market fires. Today, even pathways are jammed with sellers spilling onto the street, making emergency response almost impossible. On September 9, 2023, nearly 100 traders lost goods and cash worth hundreds of thousands of cedis in a devastating dawn inferno that took hours for the Ghana National Fire Service to access and douse. Mabel Ayonu and Gladys Aji are just two of the victims.
We were informed that our teams are burning here. They have invited the fire service, but before they will get here, a lot of goods have burned before they were in. Everything, our money, our goods, all other things have lost. I took goods on Saturday, and the same day that I bought the goods was the same that the fire outbreak caused. So I lost the goods money 7,000. Once I left money here, 3,000. Before I get here, everything. And to start again, it wasn't easy for me. My things all burned. Over 3 million, 3 billion, 3.5 billion. Plenty. Not be small money.
Although the Municipal Assembly has rebuilt the sheds, little has changed. Taiba Abdullahi says traders are still waiting for answers from authorities.
The government, the fire service, they didn't tell us what caused the fire. We didn't hear from them.
The September 9 inferno was not the first. Market management member Celestina Haji blames the recurring fires on illegal connections and overcrowding.
The major causes are illegal connections and illegal connection in the market. Because if we are apply for meter, they will not give you, and we need the light. So we have to go for the illegal. You get about 6 or 7 illegal connections. 10. We have the access, but the women block it. They have shades. The women at the roadside, they all have shades in the market, but they went outside. We call for the assembly to come and sack them. If they sack them, they will get there, they will go there and go and pay money. They will leave them, they will come again. It affects us a lot because if we have disaster in the market, if the fire service are coming, they will not get road.
Celestina Haji, however, urged ECG to speed up meter access to curb illegal connections and calls on the Municipal Assembly to redesign the market to ease overcrowding.
They should give us meter if we apply. They should give us and fast. The Assembly should take action.
The newly nominated Municipal Chief Executive for Ashaiman, Freeman Chekbo, has, however, assured the market women of his firm commitment to modernizing the market.
His Excellency has promised the people of Ashaiman to uplift the market, a modern market. I will work to realize that vision for His Excellency.
Well, until these measures, including reconstruction of the market, access to ECG meters on time, are addressed, traders here in the market will remain at the mercy of fire disasters. My name is Carlos Caloni for joining.
So that is my producer there, Carlos Caloni, with that particular report from Ashaiman Main Market. Now, the West African Examination Council, WAEC, is alarmed at a surge in examination malpractices. And, of course, they've been bringing us some figures with regards to the malpractices that they've witnessed over the years. And we've been joined on the line by Samuel Ewuku, Dr. Samuel Ewuku, to help us more on this. Doc, I'm grateful to you. Now, you say this is on the surge. What numbers are you looking at?
I will not really be able to provide the numbers to you because that's the preview of West Africa Examination Council.
Okay.
I think my coming here more is to discuss with you how we can provide solution to the problem that has been raised.
Okay.
I think in the morning, they talked about 16,000% increase in malpractice. I'm not privy to that, but that's what the West African Examination Council has put.
So how can we deal with this? Because then it impacts the quality of education that we do have.
Exactly so. You know, education is not only about assessment, but generally, universally, assessment outcomes are used to determine the next step of graduates, whether they are going to place of work or they are going for further studies. So examination is very, very important. And if we are to solve that problem, then we got to also look at what is the root cause of the problem generally. And in our education space, you know, what teachers teach, how they teach, what they have to teach, and how it is assessed. These three things must happen at the same time when we're talking of any education reforms. I think for some time now in our country, we've not really enjoyed that privilege of trying to address all three approaches to making sure that the education provision in the school is of the standard we want by looking at the curriculum, the approach of delivering the curriculum, and how it is assessed. For the first time, we having that in our senior high schools. So if that is done very well with the manual that is prepared for the teachers in senior high school to guide them to understand the kind of assessment that they need to do, the work that is going on currently with West Africa Examination Council to make sure that assessment items that they are producing and they're developing is in line with the curriculum, not focusing only on the end result, but actually making sure that what students learn throughout their stay in school, that talking about formative way of assessment, or toward their final result. I think that would be another way of solving the problem. But critically is how we view accountability in the system. heads of schools are given targets to see that their students perform.
Okay.
These targets are then used to rank them. Some of us think that that's a recipe for disaster and a recipe for malpractice, because the kind of target that is set is not informed by reliable data on how students learn and the individual differences between one child to the other. So you take a school where in a particular year, the performance rate, let's say 70%, then arbitrarily, that school is told, okay, because this year you've gotten 70%, next year you should get 80%. Not taking into account the cohort and the ability.
Okay.
So one of the things that we'll be talking about and pushing hard is for us to move the system of value added.
Okay.
Because every child will enter a new stage or new phase in the education system with a set of data. From primary school, they will have some data with them to show their ability level. How do we set targets based on the ability of that particular cohort? So, for example, if a child is working at a grade B level in science from primary school, when they go to junior high, what grade should they be coming out with? What should be the value added? In some jurisdictions, they will say for every phase, there should be 2 levels of progress.
Okay.
And all this come down to the reform that need to happen when we talk about assessment in our country. The third solution is to look critically as the kind of citizens we want to be, and we are. What are our values? What do we hold dear to our heart and say, if I'm a Ghanaian, these are the things that they can say about me? Is it a value of integrity? Is it honesty? I think it all comes down to we not being honest to ourselves, and we have thrown our value of integrity into the dustbin and running around doing what we think will save our personal motives. Data that we've collected in our own studies, as part of our the National Education Consultation, clearly indicate that some teachers, emphasizing this word, some teachers are capitalizing on the demand from students for support during examination and charging them to support them, which is completely against their professional code of conduct.
Okay, all right.
And that needs to be dealt with. So you can see that where the system is giving targets to heads of schools, and some heads of schools not willing to be embarrassed are also probably, not provide the oversight that needed to be done to put in place for the examination, and the teachers also not willing to be set up and say you have failed. Then they also find they're looking at the way to support the student, and the student also don't want to be as a failure. Then they also, so you can see that it's a multifaceted issue that needs a multifaceted approach in dealing with it.
I'm sure we would have to continue this discussion, but I would have to leave it here for now. I'm grateful to you, Dr. Samuel Awuku, for joining us here. He is a member of the National Education Forum. Well, and that's how we wrap up today's edition of The Pulse on the Joy News channel. Let me say a special good afternoon to you, Alfred Ebate, former Nzema student president of UCC. Now you are in London. All the best to you there, and to everybody who had time for us today. Thank you so much. You can go on to myjoyonline.com and get all the stories that we have there, interesting stories there. When you go onto the online there, I cannot accept that lights go off. When it rains, that makes no sense. Energy Minister says so. Energy Minister, please, if you can solve that, I'll be happy. My flight had to be returned because it was, it was, okay, that's not your duty. But in terms of light, please, when it rains, get us light. But from everybody, from my production, Carlos Caloni, that lady, the one who corrects our English so much, Poma, we call him Poms. Valentina, thank you so much. To the Queen herself, who, you know, make sure that we have the sound. And we have Dave. I mean, everybody. And okay, Director Prince is also there. And my camera, thank you very much. Wherever you are, please do enjoy the rest of the holiday. Make the best of the time. We'll meet again, God willing, some other time. Good evening.